Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to Malaysian Natural Product Society MNPS-INBIOSIS Online Webinar Forum Series 1 in 2024. I'm Dr. Shazeli, your moderator for today's online forum. I feel so grateful today that all of us are granted good health, time, and have the opportunity to attend this online forum. This is the first online forum held this year by MNPS INBIOSIS. There will be more webinars and online forum to come, and I hope all of you will join us again in the future, and we will bring you the hot and sensational topics for discussions. We are honored today to host three distinguished panelists. First, we have Prof. Dato Dr. Ibrahim Jantan, the Principal Research Fellow from MNPS UKM. And then we have Encik Abdul Razak Mohd Isa, CEO and also co-founder of Medika Natura Berhad. And last but not least, we have Puan Nurul Azeera Hasnan, the Principal Assistant Director from National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, NPRA, together with us today. They are here to share with us their experience and knowledge about today's topic, which is the journey from herbal research to product registration to commercialization in Malaysia. So without further ado, I would like to open the forum with our first speaker, Prof. Dato Dr. Ibrahim Jantan. And before that, I would like to, among MNPS members, I think we all know who is Prof. Ibrahim, but just to do a justice for other participants to get to know more about Prof. Ibrahim, I would like to read a little bit on the bibliography of Prof. Ibrahim. So Dr. Ibrahim Jantan has degrees in Bachelor of Pharmacy and also Master of Science in Medicinal Chemistry and PhD in Natural Product Chemistry. He is currently a professor at MNPS UKM. Prior to his present position, he was a professor at Taylor's University Malaysia until 2020. He was with the Faculty of Pharmacy UKM from 1996 to 2018. And he was the founding dean from 2008 to 2015 in UKM. Dr. Ibrahim started his research career at the Forest Research Institute of Malaysia, FRIM, in 1996. And he was the president of the Malaysian Natural Product Society, MNPS, from 2010 to 2020. Members of Malaysian Herbal Council, honorary advisor of the Asian Association School of Pharmacy, and also Malaysian focal point for medicinal plants for Indian Ocean Rim Associations. He also a research advisor of Nanying Academy of Sciences, Singapore, scientific advisor of Human Life Advancement Foundation, Malaysia, and ordinary member of the Center for Natural Product Discovery, Liverpool, John Murray University, UK. He has more than 38 years of research experience in natural products and medicinal chemistry and pharmacological activities of natural products. Currently, his research interests are identification of natural bioactive compounds and development of multi-components botanical products. As of January 2024, he has published more than 225 papers in Scopus Index journals and has a current H index of 43. All right, I think have impressive bibliography profile, Prof. Ibrahim. So I think I will pass the floor to Prof. All right, Prof, the floor is yours. Prof, mute, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera. Very good morning to all. Thank you, Dr. Shazeli. Very kind introduction. I've seen many familiar faces. I'd like to mention Prof. 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐞𝐝, my good friend, still very active, and also my students from Pakistan and from Indonesia and so on. Let me share my slide first. Okay, the title of the forum of panel discussion today is the journey from herbal research to registration and commercialization in Malaysia. So very good opportunity for us today to have myself presenting researchers, the scientists doing herbal research, and we have Nurul, Azeera from NPRA to talk about the registration aspects, and also Encik Abdul Razak on the commercialization of herbal products in Malaysia. I'd like to start with this slide. If you look at the plants, they have different value, either commercial value, scientific value, depends on the scientific input. If you look at the triangle I've drawn here, drugs and herbal medicines, they are of high value, especially scientific value, due to the scientific input. You have traditional medicines at the bottom of the triangle. You have fresh herbs, dried herbs, which not much research has been done on them. But I mean, it's scientific research, so they are at the bottom of the triangle. So if you move up from traditional medicine, you have culinary herbs, cosmetic, functional foods, health supplement, nutraceutical, until you got the herbal medicines almost at the top, almost same level as drugs. So in natural product research, we have actually two different directions or scientific interests. One is to discover drugs, drug discovery, to identify chemical leads for development of into drug candidates. And quite recent, I should say, in Malaysia, development, another area is development of high quality, safe and efficacious multi-component botanical products, such as herbal medicines, health supplements, and nutraceutical. This diagram is on the drug discovery and development pipeline. Those familiar with drug research, it is the reductionist approach. What I mean by reductionist approach is a bullet-based or magic bullet or mono-target drug intervention. We start with screening of compounds that is new or old, and then followed by laboratory or experimental studies in vitro, in vivo, using animal models, and then to identify chemical leads, and then followed by structure, activity, relationship studies. Now you use a lot of computer-aided drug design to help identify the drug candidates. You have all the, and also before go into the clinical trials, you have the preclinical studies, especially to look at the toxicological aspect of it. And then when you have all the data, the preclinical data, then you can move on, submit for clinical trials. You have three phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then you have all the data, you got appropriate information, and then register it as a new drug application. And then finally, the drug will be in the market. And in phase 4, post-marketing surveillance studies, the drug can be withdrawn from market if there is any adverse effects and so on. So this is a reductionist approach. Why we call it reduction? Because we start with thousands or more than that of compounds for a plant sample or new synthetics compounds to be screened with all the preliminary testing until finally you just work on one of them clinical trial to come up with the medicine in the market. So we call it the industrial approach or bullet-based. To simplify it, you look at the different stages here. You have from the identification of lead compound, develop into drug candidate, and then doing a lot of preclinical studies to become project compound, and then you move on to go into the clinical trials. You have project medicine, you call it clinical trial medicine. Finally, you register it as a medicine. Of course, you know the value of death. This is the stage where almost 80 to 90% failure, or most of the drug research or discovery fail from animal study, from preclinical, and to translate into human study. It's a lot of failure here. And then throughout the pipeline, you have from the laboratory, clinic to market. Of course, you can apply for patents, and then they need to have the good laboratory practice in preclinical study, and then for clinical study, they need to have a good clinical practice. And manufacturing stage, they need to have the GMP or good manufacturing practice. So this is a long process, because a lot of money. This really can go to 1 million, especially for complicated diseases. Drug to treat complicated disease such as cancer, antiviral agent, and so on. It's very costly, and it takes very long time. Can go until more than 30, 40 years to get to the bottom until you get to the destination you mentioned. For herbal research, there are 3 different areas: efficacy, quality, safety. Efficacy, safety are almost the same as drug discovery. The main difference or the additional work burden for herbal research, in addition to the drug research, is quality research. This is the area where we have many experiments, especially laboratory analysis, comprehensive phytochemical analysis, standardization, pharmacochemical, physicochemical residual analysis that has been carried out to produce single herb preparation or polyherb preparation. So if you compare with drug discovery, herbal research is more difficult because you have one area where you have the quality aspect of research. Herbal research is the approach is holistic. First, you have to begin with the knowledge, traditional knowledge, the ethno-pharmacological knowledge, or experience-based medicine. You have to get all the information for good screening. And then, of course, you have to standardize it. The conventional methods using HPLC, the pharmacopoeia, they are still using HPLC. Researchers are moving forward using more modern methods, metabolomic analysis, such as using LC tandem MS. And for quality control, you have the chemical profiling, comprehensive phytochemical analysis, and so on. And this will be followed by the bioassay. This is multi-component, multi-target approach. You have the in vitro, in vivo assay, all are multi-component, because these plant extracts, they are made up of many compounds. Also, and then we have clinical study, preclinical studies. Finally, you go to the clinical trials to get for product, and followed by product development. So if you look at drug discovery and herbal medicine, actually the approach can be integrated. If you look at drug discovery research, the approach is mono-target, using pure compound, pure isolates to come up with the drugs. You have all the in vitro, in vivo study, preclinical studies, and then the clinical trials, as I mentioned in my previous slide. For herbal medicine research, the approach is multi-target, because you're working on multi-components in extracts, and you prepare the standardized extracts. Finally, you develop into herbal medicine, health supplement, and nutraceuticals, or we call it multi-component botanical products. But the process, the experiments are almost the same. They have the in vitro, in vivo studies, preclinical studies, the clinical trials, and so on. So these are the differences or similarities of approaches to natural product research between drug discovery and herbal medicine research. Exploitation of ethno-pharmacological knowledge is very important, because it provides you with some background information, and also reduce the sample size screening. It will be more targeted. For drug discovery, we have the target-based approach, the reductionist or multi-target. And then you have phenotypic approach, drug repurposing, most recently being used to discover antiviral drug for COVID-19. And then the system biology approach, which is quite recent. And herbal medicine research, you have the conventional approach, the network-based, multi-target, and system biology approach. What is system biology? It's system biology is made of bioinformatics, the network pharmacology, and the use of omics technologies such as metabolomics proteomics, pharmacogenomics, and transcriptomics. Yeah, the addition of system biology approaches to that traditional investigatory procedures accelerates and increases understanding of the complex relationships among drugs, targets, and diseases. This is what I'm going to discuss in my coming slide. First, let us give the importance of ethnomedicine, or the importance of ethno-pharmacological knowledge in drug discovery and also for herbal medicine development. So plants is actually being used since olden days, turn times. People selected them for remedies to treat various ailments by casual observation of their curative effects. And this is actually a long-term use of plants, or we call it crude clinical trials, by trial and error to treat diseases. Yeah? So plants that pass through the screening process, some produce beneficial effects with low human toxicity. They still are still being used until today. Those drugs that shows toxicity, especially acute toxicity, they've been stopped being used. And unfortunately, some of these herbal medicines or traditional medicines still being used until today without much scientific research, especially on the chronic effect of chronic toxicity. So the use of traditional medicines provide insights regarding efficacy and safety. So, however, there is current lack of accurate translations and interpretations of ethno-pharmacological knowledge into modern drug discovery and herbal medicine development. So whether we pose a question whether the approach we are using, especially the reductionist approach, is appropriate to understand or to translate or interpret the traditional knowledge into modern science or into modern drug discovery and herbal medicine development. Limitations of mono-target reductionist approach in herbal medicine research. As you know, herbal medicine is a multi-component drugs or multi-component entities selectively interacting with multiple receptors in the body to produce pharmacological response. It's not like a target base. You have one compound acting on one molecular target, producing a very specific pharmacological response. Yeah. So the mono-target reductionist approach has provided us limited understanding of the complicated pathogenesis and multi-target pathologies of systemic diseases, difficult to treat diseases like cancers, the CVS or cardiovascular diseases, the immune disorders, and neurodegenerative disorders. We're still trying hard to find the drugs to treat all the diseases. And difficulty in identifying relevant interventions to target such complexities. So the mono-target drug intervention cannot effectively combat the complex pathologies of systemic diseases as they are regulated by complex biological networks and depend on multiple types of genetic and environmental challenges to progress. So we have to move forward to look at the approach, whether using the reductionist approach in drug discovery can be used to discover or to develop herbal medicine. I think we need to have a paradigm shifting from the mono-target reductionist approach to the multi-target paradigm in drug discovery and herbal research. The magic bullet strategy, or we call it mono-target drugs, discover, develop a highly specific compound against a particular target. This is what we learn in pharmacology, in medicinal chemistry. We look at one single compound, the mechanism of action, how it interacts with the enzymes or the target active site, the receptors, and produce the pharmacological response. Moving forward, let us look at the magic shotgun strategy, or we call it multi-target drugs. Yeah, it can be made up of multi-component drugs, which is mixture of different molecules selectively acting on multiple receptors. Or another group, we call it promiscuous drugs, a single agent or individual multi-targeted single agent single molecule selectively targets multiple receptors. So multi-component drugs include herbal medicines. This is topic of discussion today. For example, combined use of standardized extract and chemical drugs such as artemisinin from Artemisia annua, anti-malaria agent, and chloroquine can reverse drug resistance in malaria against Plasmodium falciparum. So we have different forms of multi-component drugs. You can have a drug cocktail, multi-component drug, or you have hybrid drugs. And promiscuous drugs is actually a single compound. It's a multi-target directed ligand MTDL, a single molecule designed to combine functionalities to hit multiple targets simultaneously. So we have a single compound with many ligands or many function groups that can target multiple receptors or multiple target simultaneously. A good example is aspirin. It's being used as an analgesic. It's a painkiller. Therapeutic effect revolves several pathways. So now it's a lot of research. Of course, it's being used as the antiplatelet at a lower dose, at the 100 milligram. It can be used as antiplatelet. And there's a lot of research now to look at anti-cancer and anti-arthritic effects of aspirin. So phytochemicals, they can react in different ways in the body. There are possible multiple effects of phytochemicals on microbes, inflammation, cancer, and immune system, just an example. So phytochemicals can act as an antioxidant, can act as an anti-cancer, as an antimicrobial by acting directly on the active sites. As antioxidants, it has beneficial effects to reduce DNA damage, as anti-cancer acts on the tumor, and also will promote apoptosis, and also acts on antimicrobial, inhibit the protein synthesis, DNA synthesis, inhibit metabolic pathway, and so on. But phytochemicals can also interact or react with the immune system. It can suppress or can stimulate it. By stimulating the immune system, it produces reactive oxygen species, RNS, and so on, and it can promote anti-cancer effects. With increased ROS, it can promote apoptosis, and also with the immunosuppressant effects, reducing ROS production, it has anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer effects. And also, it can also defend our body against microbes, especially virus, bacteria, by increasing ROS production. So I'm going to talk on the importance of using system biology for drug discovery and herbal medicine development. This got in Malaysia, I think it's quite recent, I could say between 10-15 years ago. It's being widely used in drug discovery and also herbal medicine development. System biology is actually a compendium of scientific methods complementary to the use of preclinical experimental models. It's not an alternative, it's a complementary. It's a quantitative and holistic approach to integrate diverse data types with molecular and also as well as pathway information, leading to development of predictive models for the complex systemic diseases. And they make use of bioinformatic analysis of high throughput data, including use of network pharmacology and use of omics platform technology, and also by using all these technologies and data, we can increase the knowledge of metabolites or knowledge base of metabolites, proteins, and genes from high throughput experimental data, help to understand complex biological systems, and also accelerate hypothesis generation and testing in disease models. So this is how it looks like graphically, target networks. So the circles indicate the targets, and the size of circles represent the novel degree. So the link between the targets represent the number of drugs simultaneously focused by two neighboring targets. So the interactions, the thicker line shows the interactions, strong interaction with thicker lines, interactions among the biological concepts. Okay, and once the network is developed, the hidden relationship between drugs and diseases can be predicted using various lean prediction algorithms to yield repurposing opportunities. So multi-target approach for herbal medicine research, they serve as valuable resources for network-based multi-target drug discovery, and also network pharmacology with omic technology can be used to study the relationship and correlation of multi-components of herbal extracts with their pharmaceutical activities. In fact, multi-target drugs could be developed from herbal extracts, first by standardization. You identify the active chemical markers, and then redevelop them into a new multi-component formulation or standardized extract composed of the major bioactive components in order to reach a synergistic and optimal combination. So advantages of using system biology approach in drug discovery, herbal medicine development, is they provide the comprehensive understanding, integrating different molecular, cellular, physiological data, provides comprehensive understanding of how drugs interact with the entire system. And then a predictive model, actually, is the relation of mathematical models and computational simulations. This enables the prediction of drug response different populations, genetic variations, and environmental factors. And also, this is a very appropriate way to come about with personalized medicine. So because it allows the identification of genetic markers and biomarkers that we can predict in individual patient respond to specific drugs. So this approach improves treatment outcomes by tailoring therapies to the unique characteristics of each patient, ultimately enhancing efficacy and reducing adverse reactions. So now let us look at efficacy of herbal medicines. Yeah, you look at what's in the market now. We can actually categorize them into genuine herbal medicine, experimental herbal medicine, questionable herbal medicine. Of course, NPRA have different categorization of herbal medicine, but this is characterization, a scientific characterization based on research output. Yeah, what is a genuine herbal medicine? They have been subjected to rigorous scientific study, scientifically proven evidence-based. Yeah. Experimental herbal medicine, they are still undergoing scientific investigation. Questionable herbal medicine, products of quackery or no scientific information. For genuine herbal medicine, they have met scientific-based criteria of effectiveness and safety. They have been subjected to adequate clinical trials, clinical studies. Example of herbal medicines in the market, you can find them in pharmacy, for example, ginseng, ginkgo, garlic, and so on. The experimental herbal medicines still undergoing scientific investigation, unproven, but have some plausible rationale. They have a lot of phytochemical animal studies data to support the traditional uses. Unfortunately, they don't have enough or inadequate clinical data, such as tongkat Ali, kacir Fatima, and so on. Most of the local herbs are still undergoing scientific investigation. And then you have the questionable medicine, lack scientific recommendation, lack of scientific plausible rationale, just like snake oil. Yeah, based on ethno-medicine, based on testimonial, you can find this in the market now, very popular. Most of the herbal products in the market. So now let it move on to the regulation. Of course, Nurul will elaborate more on this, but just to discuss a bit on this, to see the flow of my talk, where I'm going to lead you all later. Let us look at the regulation of herbs in Malaysia. You have 4 actually. Three are directly related to the products, 1 to the practice, 1 the regulation of control of drugs and cosmetics in 1984. They regulate herbal products for human use. They are assessed for quality and safety. They don't have, the act does not mention on efficacy, just on quality and safety. Yeah? Only herbal products prepared in pharmaceutical form are required to be registered. Yeah? So the Medicine Sales and Advertisement Act 1956 prohibits promotion of medicine for treatment of 20 serious medical conditions. And then you have the guideline on most recently, in June 2020, you have guideline on natural products with therapeutic claims. So all products for human use need clinical studies. Yeah? Efficacy of product should be based on the totality of the substantiated evidence provided, including human study, non-clinical and empirical or statistical data. So these are the criteria and level of evidence to substantiate claims for natural products. At the present moment, you have only two natural product claims. You have the low claims and high claims. The medium claims is yet coming. Hopefully, it's coming soon. For the traditional health use claim, the low claim, you need just evidence from documented traditional use and knowledge without any experimental studies. And then for the scientifically established treatment for high claims, in addition to the scientific data and traditional medicine principle, you need the compound or the product have to be standardized. There should be real-time stability study, validation of the analytical methods, and also the most important is clinical study. Claims for treatment are approved by a recognized regulatory body based on human intervention studies. For the health supplements, you have three claims. You have the general claim or the low claim, medium claim, and high claims. For the general claim or nutritional claim, you just need references, the NPRA recognized references. You don't need any experimental data for this. For functional claims, you have the meaning claims. This is to maintain or enhance structure functions of the human body, excluding disease-related claims. Nothing to do with disease here. So you have, as above, as the general claim. In addition to that, you have good quality scientific evidence from human observational studies. If human experimental studies is not ethical, animal studies, this is in vivo, will be accepted together with epidemiological studies or other scientific literature and documented traditional use, and also peer-reviewed scientific data of meta-analysis. For disease risk reduction claim, high claim, this is significantly altering or reducing risk factor of a disease or health-related conditions, for example, reducing the cardiovascular risk, reducing diabetes, and so on. The compulsory evidence, scientific evidence from human intervention study, and also at least one additional evidence as above, a report reviewed by expert committee, expert opinion. So now, this is from the NPRA website with some modification for easy understanding. Qualification and registration of natural product for registration under the Quest 3+ system. Actually, natural products, when one register, it can be classified only into three: the drugs, food products, and cosmetics. And then you have food drug interface product. This is when there is some more information, detailed information that you need to do, especially whether you want to classify as a drugs or food products, then you can move on to look at whether it can be categorized as FDI products. Food products, straightforward, 100% food ingredients. If it's herbal, you have to herbs and spices include form without medicinal and health claim. So it become a food products. Yeah, for drugs, it can be a drugs, the modern herbal products, supplement, natural product with therapeutic claim. This is in fact the area that most of us natural product scientists are working on. So the criteria as stated there. Products, pharmaceutical dosage forms such as soft gel, capsule, and so on. So, and any pharmaceutical products, any herbal preparation, any herbal supplement in pharmaceutical forms, yes, classified as drugs. Yeah. So the claims here is very important. So research gaps and challenges. The lack of accurate translation and interpretation of ethnopharmaceutical knowledge by modern scientists, as mentioned in my earlier slides. The technology readiness level of the industry, moving forward using all the modern technique, especially system biology approach, whether we are ready or not. R&D are not market-driven, inclined towards academic exercises with little emphasis on developmental approach, too much emphasis on publication with in journals, and also publish. If you don't publish, you perish, is what they say for scientists. So many past and ongoing preclinical and clinical studies are unsuccessful, unfortunately. because looking at the long or the very costly way to develop drugs and herbal medicine, because it's not easy. And most clinical studies are preliminary with low sample size and inadequate trial design. There's a lot of half-baked research going on to produce market-driven products with high commercial value, but with limited preclinical and clinical data. So let's focus on the mechanistic sciences to understand the underlying mechanisms at a molecular level, innovation, dissemination of research findings to industry players, with lack of awareness on regulatory matters, lack of sufficient funds to carry out downstream research, and also little international collaboration for knowledge and technology transfer. Of course, there are a lot more to mention. These are a few that I've seen, I've learned throughout my years of experience doing natural product research, especially herbal medicine. So, three parties are involved actually. We need collaboration between these parties. The scientists, government, industry need to work together. Scientists do R&D, government provide grants, regulation, and policy and so on. The industry, product development, marketing. So Malaysia, to move forward, just one of the major players in world medicine, we need to work together. It's a lot of constraints and challenges, lack of effective collaboration between the three parties, leading to uncoordinated efforts and involvement of too many government agencies. Many want to become champion in managing research grants and establishing research centers, leading to uncoordinated and unfocused research activities. And also, unfortunately, many of the scientists young and lack of competent, and most of them are not well trained in drug discovery and herbal medicine development, especially in herbal medicine development, and also little involvement of industries and multinationals R&D. So I would suggest short-term and long-term strategies to boost nation herbal medicine based on what's happening in US, in China, in countries that have really developed their herbal medicine industry. We look at the short term and long term. Short term, we have to focus on quality and safety for the low claim and medium claim, and for long term, for the high claim for the efficacy. Yeah, because efficacy is not easy, because it's a lot of, I say, clinical trials and so on. We focus on quality, safety. This is a problem actually. It's a lot of problem in the market, quality of products and also safety of products, that we scientists need to come up with data and to help. I just want to show you some sample case study what happened in a few years ago. MOA, they have the APP1 high value herbal products under the NPRA high value herbs list listed in APP1. We have about 17, 18 herbs being identified as high value herbs. The Priyakata Lempoy, I mentioned the local name, Sirih, Merunggan, Gelenggang, Sambung Nyawa, Senduduk, Tongkat Ali, Kacik Fatimah, Misa, Kucing, Dukung Anak, Hembudu Bumi, Mengkudu Rosel, Macotik, Belalai Gajah, and Pengagal. Okay, so let us take an example of Tongkat Ali. From my own analysis, these are the areas of research being published on Tongkat Ali. Yeah? Anti-cancer activities, for studies, anti-malaria, anti-plasmodial effects. This is actually for drug discovery. For you don't do anti-cancer research, anti-malaria research for herbal medicine research, because it's of course you can do it, but it's not practical. It's the Malaysian context. And then you have the fertility and reproductive studies. You have ergogenic acid, and then prevention osteoporosis in the other area, which we can think of doing some research on the herbs, on Tongkat Ali herbs, to develop them into herbal products. So let us see a case on Tongkat Ali, priority area of Tongkat Ali. We can come up with product development, the standardized extracts of Tongkat Ali as herbal supplement for restoring and enhancing general well-being and strengthening bones for men, functional and medium claim. Yeah, is something that based on the regulatories and guidelines under Ministry of Health. This area that I should say doable, we can achieve it, and based on what the research output or research facilities that we have come up with. This is an area we can focus on. What are the research projects? You can focus on research gaps in mechanistic studies as agents to boost energy, the ergogenic aid to promote relaxation, reduce stress, strengthen bones, modulate immune response, lower blood sugar and cholesterol level, and as adjuvant to treat structural dysfunction in men. So you look at the claims here, seeing something that is possible for us to achieve, rather than you move, you choose to work on anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, and so on. This is good. So to develop them into drugs and so on, it's not easy. And we can use ginseng as a model or as a competitor product. So let's look at an example. Herbalife has been very successful, very good marketing strategy. It's actually a multi-level marketing corporation that developed dietary supplements, exclusive blends of plant-based nutrients that provide vitamin, antioxidant, minerals to support cell function. There are product indications: weight management, thermogenesis, increase mental alertness and maintain energy, skin and hair care, heart health, support energy, circulatory and vascular health, antioxidant, and so on. These are very low claim, and without any much research output, maybe we can go into a very mild claim on this. And if you look at the literature, actually there's some reports on this. The company has been alleged to have fraudulently operated a pyramid scheme, and some products sold by Herbalife have caused acute hepatitis. So they have this product disclaimer on the label. These statements have not been evaluated by FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So my last slide to wrap up is the road ahead for herbal research. Adopt multidisciplinary and integrated approach to natural product research for development herbal medicine. Paradigm shift from no-target reductionist approach to the multi-target approach for discovery and development herbal medicine. Priority in development of herbal medicine and health supplements rather than drug discovery. Use network pharmacology multi-target approach for herbal medicine development. Research focus should be on, for short term, should be on quality control and safety of herbal products for human consumption. And then there should be a strategic alliance between scientists, government, industries, or developed herbal industries. There's high value investment and business, and also active involvement of herbal industry in R&D, the quality control, standardization, and acquiring of the GAP, the GLP, and GNP status. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Dr. Shazeli.
All right, thank you, Prof, for the insightful opinions and also the current progress in herbal research in Malaysia. For those participants that have opinions and questions, please already in WebEx can put your comments in chat box. For those listening or watching us through Facebook, you can put your comments through Facebook comment sections. All right, without further ado, we move to our second presenter, Encik Abdul Razak Muhammad Isa. He's our representative from industries. So basically, he will highlight the significant contributions of Medika Natura, a leading pharmaceutical company in Malaysia, specializing in developing and commercializing botanical drugs and high-value herbal products sourced from Malaysian and Southeast Asian origins. I think I pass to you, Mr. Abdul Razak.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamualaikum. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Clearly, Okay. Wait, okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning to everybody. My name is Razak. Before I proceed, thank you to 𝐾𝐚/INBIOSIS for inviting me to share our experience and journey for the past almost plus minus, specifically in botanical drug development, about 12 years, involving R&D, commercialization, and to extent involving also in the policy development for Malaysia. So I'll share a bit of the history and then moving towards where we are and what we're going to achieve the next coming years. Yeah. Before we go into details, this is something that interesting where I came across news in the Guardian, if I'm mistaken, where it mentioned here researchers recommend a return to their roots in terms of food and exercise because our South Asians have a long history, remember, long history of advanced and complex health practices like Ayurveda, yoga, Unani medicine, which have become less common in favor of Western foods and lifestyles and Western medicines. And they quoted insulin's rates of diabetes due to these lifestyle of Westerns, and due to that also is about time they use the word decolonize of our research and health advice to give people of different ethnicities. So this is something that is very important for us to take into account when it comes to wellness and healthcare, because managing wellness and healthcare is not a straightforward, and then it's not going to be one solution fit all. So this is where Herbal play a very important role in our wellness and also healthcare system in Malaysia, particularly, and globally. Okay, things that we do not know about our roots. Maybe some of us know, but I think most of us do not know. 80% of the world's population is estimated to use traditional medicine. This is according WHO data. 80% is almost, it's a huge numbers by that percentage. And 40% of approved pharmaceutical products in use today derive from natural substances. This is also something that people thought that when it comes to synthetic drugs, you can just create anything out of thin air, but it's not true. 40% approved derived from natural substances. And then the market size of the global medicine, herbal medicine, it runs into the trillions. It depends on our exchange rate today. If our exchange rate today is 4.6, so the numbers will definitely increase then more than 1.65 trillion. So this is the numbers that we have. And how do we take this opportunity to unlock these numbers to contribute to the nation GDP? So this is where we want to share with you what we're going to do and how we do it, and then hopefully that we can improve it further as we move forward into our development and commercialization. Okay, but before that, this is something that I want to share about Malaysia's situation, current state as of today. As we know that Malaysia has more than 3,000 species of medicinal plants reported widely, some in the journal, some in the news, reported widely. 3,000 is not small, it's huge numbers. And then we do have records through what they call it, kitab tip, Malay manuscript, traditionally used for men, women, and children's health, which is, if I'm not mistaken, you still like to quote the 𝐓𝐢𝐭𝐞 book. So they can see that a lot of traditional context, traditional use of our herbs. And due to research funding, mostly came from Mohd, a lot of scientifically tested, but not all. Some, yes, tested in modern or sophisticated disease like obesity, diabetes, vitality, respiratory, cancer, and so on. But little has been done clinically. So this is our problem. We do have a lot of data on traditional contexts. We have a lot of publications on scientifically, mostly done on animals, but we have so little on clinical, which can be applied on human. So this is a challenge that we face in Malaysia until today. Okay, how we want to overcome this challenge? This is something that is very important to know where we are as a country in our guidelines, in our policy towards botanical drug development. Okay, this is something interesting development. I think NPRA reps will be presenting details more on MPRA. But natural product under category under DRDG, the drug regulatory guideline, we have traditional medicine is given. And then in 2022, natural product with therapeutic claim. And I was involved in the discussion with Puan Aida when they were about to launch this natural product therapeutic claim. We had 3 rounds of meeting. One was co-hosted by Maida. Medika Natura walked through our works on preclinical and clinical. And then with that, they released a guideline in time for our clinical study in Malaysia. So basically, we are the first in Malaysia to use the guideline when it was first launched in 2020. And then another interesting development during our conversation with NPRA and Puan Aida and team, I think she's no longer with NPRA. We mentioned that we need a middle claim where that middle claim should be able to recognize the scientific works that publish in peer-reviewed journal. For example, you have a lot of research on 𝐏𝐚𝐴 Fatimah for diabetic, and then for obesity, and then so on and so forth. But these remain as a publication. You cannot recognize it on label, and you are stuck in between places. You cannot be used in traditional claim because of traditional claim has a fixed claim on the guidelines, and then has also to be depending on Malaysian medicinal monograph. And then if the monograph did not capture the new findings of that research, then definitely the finding cannot be used. That's where it stuck in the publication. And until today, if I'm mistaken, there was a last news stated that overall there were about 9,000 plus publications remain at publication. There's no commercial activities. So just imagine how many billions of research funding stuck in the publication, published materials, and no application on the ground. This is where we communicated with NPRA back in 2019, 2018. And then unfortunately, I think that they need to deliberate further. And then time moved on, and I was also appointed as a chairman of National Biotechnology Policy under Dato Rahma, where I was chairing the healthcare and wellness and healthcare group, co-chair with my co-founder Mustaza. We raised again this issue, and then MOH appointed me as a National Committee Herbal Medicine committee chaired by DG, which is NPRA is part of the committee member, and then I raised again in the meeting, and then thank God, about, I think if I'm mistaken, last month they came out with the final draft of natural product with modern claim. So with that, once it launched, we will have a complete guideline to recognize different stages of natural product by the work that has been done on that particular herbs. For example, if it's non-scientific, then it remains as traditional. But with scientific, it can be done. It can be under modern claim, and if it's with clinical, it can be under therapeutic claim. And then I would like to highlight here. People like to use the word TCM, traditional complementary medicine. And then I believe that word has been used blanket, applied to all natural product, regardless the status. I would like to correct that view, because of once you come to the natural product with therapeutic claim, your product is equal to any drug of synthetic drug that is in that similar field. For example, that a diabetic metformin, and then if you conducting clinical study according to the NPRA guidelines, then and then you fulfill all the clinical parameters, your product is equal to metformin or could be better than metformin. So that has to be corrected, the view. It's not complementary. Complementary when you do not have any clinical evidence to support your own product. When you have your own clinical evidence, that is no more complementary. That is a therapeutic. Okay, so that has to be corrected on that view. And then in terms of policies, government policies towards 2030, we are moving into advanced economy, advanced high-income nations. At least 3 ministers and agencies came out with the guidelines. First, National Biosecurity Policy 2030, which is, as I mentioned, I was the chairman under MOSTI. Under healthcare awareness, we have 2 flagships, where the first flagship is on, botanical drugs and also precision medicine. So we cover both the natural and the non-natural components. And then under Halal Industry Master Plan 2030, also identified halal medicine, nutraceutical, cosmeceutical as a one major area of focus by Malaysia. And then under new industry master plan, which is I was also involved during the workshop, I gave feedback. And under pharmaceutical, interestingly, they captured the API manufacturing of niche botanicals and also halal medicine. So these are where natural products could come in under the 3 policies by different ministries. So we are not short of policies. We are not short of regulations. I think we already have a perfect framework for us to move forward towards commercialization. Okay, but with all the guidelines, with all the research, with the years of research, with the billions of money pumped into our R&D, where we are now, we have 0 homegrown drug. The one that was approved by NPRA recently under the therapeutic guideline for natural claim for diabetic foot ulcer, if I'm saying DFU, is a product from a foreign company. And you know what? One of the ingredients that was used in the drug that was approved by MNPRA is Centella acetica. That is pegaga, you know, which is a lot of research of Malaysian scientists have published. But as I said, we remain at the publication, 0 on implementation. So that was the first drug approved. You can Google, you find in the news, that was the first therapeutic natural product approved by 𝐾𝐚 for DFU, which one of the ingredients is Centella acetica. So we have 0 homegrown drug until today. Why this is important? Because of it also reflecting on our healthcare security. We are relying on imported solutions, and then not all solutions meet well with our requirements, and then we pay billions of ringgit to import all the drugs. Okay, about us, Medika Natura, we were established in 2006. And then our focus in biopharmaceutical company, focus on development commercial botanical drug started in 2010. And then until then, we've been doing a lot of R&D and commercialization in that particular area. Myself, the co-founder, and Mustazah Mohamad is co-founder of the company. Our chairman is Dato 𝐈𝐺𝐻, and we have our corporate advisors. We have key people, Salman Zahari, which is a son of Arwah Prof Zahari. And then we have our clinical program management, Dr. T, and then sales. So these are the key management team. Then, okay, key strategy highlights last more than 10 years. We are in the business. To date, we have developed product pipelines at various stages, botanical drugs, nutraceuticals, and 6 active ingredients. And our focus is global, selected markets. And inshallah, we are entering one of the Korea soon. And then key highlights from the past, since 2015, we got our FDA clearance. We are the first company and the first ingredient derived from Kacip Fatimah to receive FDA clearance, and we also the first to receive clearance from Europe as novel food for our Labicia pumila extract SK7. And then we have completed clinical trials in Malaysia, Indonesia, and also in India, involving about 314 individuals, 4 primary care clinics, and 6 tertiary care hospitals. And then we have 10 IPs, 2 patents, 8 trademarks and certifications, FDA, EFSA, NPRA under the MAL and halal. And then our clinical study is published in the peer-reviewed journal. So we achieved quite significant milestones, but it's tough. It's not easy because there was no precedent for us to follow. We learned our rope along the way that when we developing our work on towards therapeutic, it's not easy. And then to date, as of to date, we focus ourselves by discipline, by disease, and by clinical stages. And then where we are with our work, basically endocrine, we divide by obesity disease, obesity, diabetes, fatty liver disease, fibroid. We have different stages. In vivo, in vitro is animal study. So moving pending clinical. The most advanced is obesity. We have completed phase 1 and phase 2. And then hopefully we will start soon with our phase 3 in 2024. And then oncology, we have completed cervical, breast, completed in vivo, and then breast in vitro. Infectious disease, COVID-19 is interesting. We actually work with IMR on this part. We got it to level that ethics approve our study, phase 2/3, involving about 700 plus subjects with category 3 COVID-19. And then the location of the study will be at MIP Serdang. And we got everything in place. We got approval, and we also got we already get the clearance from NPRA on the Dr. Zaril in the picture, where we communicate, and then he advised us on how we should submit our CTX, etc. We got it until approved, but unfortunately the study did not take place because of some issues on the sites, and then funding that was planned for it did not happen. So yeah, it remains as a concept on paper. However, interestingly, IMR, that doesn't stop them. They pursue further to further investigate COVID-19 on Wuhan and Omicron variant. And recently, last year they completed additional work using our ingredient, and then they established, yes, our ingredient has potential inhibiting Wuhan and also Omicron variants. And then we had a meeting again together with Academy Science of Malaysia, and then getting feedback, how do we move forward with these new findings. So hopefully something good will come out of this, because of currently there's no solution for long COVID. There's no clear therapeutic treatment for long COVID. And then in fact, vaccines also, you can see a lot of resistance due to widely reported, perceptions, and then resistance, and of course of breakthrough cases, although you already got your vaccine. So these are the dynamic of COVID-19. And then we have Alzheimer in the pipeline. Cardiology, we have CVD. We are working with University Malaya on this area. And then rheumatology is rheumatoid arthritis. We have the ingredient, and we plan for registration as hopefully we can get the modern claim. We wait for the launch of the guidelines officially, and then moving towards preclinical and clinical. That is our advancement for last since 2010. Okay, global market opportunity is huge. You can just Google to find a lot of reports. As I mentioned, it runs into trillions. That's huge numbers. So we need to, as Malaysia, with the 3,000 medicinal plants in our backyard, I think we need to take it seriously. How do we capture and unlock these values? Okay, I want to bring to the comparison, synthetic drugs and traditional medicine. Okay, and we know synthetic drug has its pro and cons. So does traditional medicine has its pro and cons. But however, when it comes to clinical study, there's no difference of treatment by regulatory agency. In fact, NPRA will treat you as a drug, regardless your ingredient, because we've gone through the process. We've gone through the process from the CTX, the preclinical and clinical. In fact, if you look into the therapeutic guideline for natural product clearly stated the safety standards of your investigation product must be a GLP OECD. Means that it has to be done in a GLP OECD lab, not a GLP driven, but it has to be certified lab. So to that level of safety, although your ingredient has been used for hundreds of years. That's why I say that when it comes to clinical, there's no different. People think, oh, you're natural, you have a substandard, you are into the standard B and synthetic was standard A. No such thing. We are equal, we go through the same protocol, we go same approval process, no different. Yeah, it has to be corrected. But only different that when we work on our ingredient, we combine the two. Combine the two as in the science and in the traditional knowledge. Because traditional knowledge is very important to give you idea the potential of the ingredients. Example that I want to quote is very classic example that we learn. For example, 𝐏𝐚𝐴 Fatimah. Traditionally used by women, although men also use that in Sarawak. You have a good book by Prof Nick Haslina, Kenapa 𝐏𝐴 Fatimah. Very interesting book. She captures the traditional knowledge and the scientific knowledge and some clinical knowledge of 𝐏𝐴 Fatimah. But when it comes to traditional knowledge, as I said that there's no scientific evidence. It go by anecdotal experience, which is a big mega challenge when it comes to clinical treatment. This is where I say that in the training context, for example, in 𝐏𝐴 Fatimah, one of the areas they said that firming and toning abdominal muscle, melangsing dan merampingkan pinggang ataupun menguatkan uterus. So this is where interesting experience, interesting information, a piece of information that when we take about toning and firming the abdominal muscles, if we translate into clinical context, it could relate to your abdominal, visceral abdominal waistline, or waistline, which is, if you translate, if you have a bigger waistline, it could relate to your abdominal obesity, which is could relate to your visceral fat, also could relate to any other complications of other diseases. So it's very interesting kind of relationship between traditional with the diseases. However, how do we establish that? This is where the synthetic drug pathway in terms of preclinical and clinical takes place. So we marry the two to ensure that we get the results, and that is what you say, that there's no difference when it comes to synthetic and botanical drugs development by regulatory body. Yeah, and then as of today, we have products that traditionally under traditional medicine, we have to, because there was no guideline that fit into our shoes yet. We hope that modern claim will come soon, and then this is where we're going to upgrade our label according to the available guidelines by NPRA. We have at least 3 from 𝐏𝐴 Fatimah, from Black Ginger, and then Misa Kucing. Then revenue channels, medical clinics, retail pharmacies, distributors, right orders. Yeah, we are already in the market, and then interesting feedback we gathered from doctors and pharmacies. And then, you know what? Maybe because we are on the ground, right? And then people contact us directly. This is something that the insight of consumers. Doctors mentioned that they notice that those above 40 normally, I do not know how true, how accurate this, but some doctors told us patients that above 40, they prefer natural rather than synthetic because of they do not want to go through the side effects of that synthetic drugs. So that is what the feedback is. And yesterday I just got call from one lady, just had open bypass. Also shared, I say that, said Razak, I tried to reduce my drugs and I want to see natural remedies. So you see that these are the feedback on the ground, and that's why you see that a lot of Malaysian, I mean Asian, in fact, even when a Korean who are interested to import our products told us in Korea, food is medicine, medicine is food. That is Korean. They try to refrain of using synthetic as much as they could. Because of that, their regulatory body came out with a guideline, they call it health food. Health food basically a food that has ingredient that has clinical and preclinical evidence of that particular disease. That's how they to that extent, they support the practice of the Korean by having a regulatory in place so that the Koreans are protected and then will be consuming the right ingredient that fulfill the criteria. So that's what we learned. It's very interesting feedback that we got from globally, and same goes to Europe. And then as of to date, one of our core product is 𝐴𝐶7 is a trademark, is patented locally and internationally. We already got our FDA. We filed patent in the US, halal, and then we got EFSA approval. Then this is our FDA, is available, you know, okay, just for record, if someone says to you, my ingredient has FDA approval, please go to regulatory website on FDA, Google the ingredient or Google that company, because FDA will publish their decision on their website and it's in the public domain. In this case, it's a letter, it's a positive letter. If they rejected, they will come up with a very long list of reasons why they rejected. So this is a positive letter where they accepted our dose from 300 mg per day to 750 mg per day. So this is the latest one. And then this is the EFSA EU. And then interesting about EFSA EU, if your ingredient receive novel food clearance, you will have a 5 years exclusive protection in Europe. Under Article 2, this is also available on the website. It stated clearly only the company Medika Natura is allowed to distribute and sell Labisa Pumila in Europe to that extent. So this is how they value your scientific works, and then they value the value of the scientific works, and of course the investment that you put in to come up to the level that they approve as a novel food. So this is unique for European, for novel food category, which is, I did highlight it to NPRA during our meeting at the national level. Hopefully that Malaysia could introduce the same, give protection, then I guess that ensuring that our investment is worth to be registered under in Malaysia. So this is something that interesting, because regulation plays important role when it comes to unlocking GDP to the country. Okay. Now go to the we go to more specific on the disease, obesity and diabetes, Malaysia and global. By numbers is huge. Affected globally about 2 billion factors of obesity, metabolic. It goes into diabetic, CKD, cancer, respiratory, hypertension, etc. You name it, everything due to the obesity or being obese. And the cost of being overweight, risk of cancer, colon cancer, and then all this cancer increase as we are getting fatter day by day. Okay. Now, if you go to country specific, you can see the numbers are in the billions. Our healthcare costs are in the billions. In fact, it's a burden to the country. The government have been highlighting they are being sponsoring our healthcare and runs in the billions. We are not just locally to operate, but we also import a lot of drugs outside of Malaysia. And then we can see that, and then during COVID-19, you can see that we are just lucky that we have a bit extra money to purchase the vaccine. If not, then we'll end up, I think it will be more drop dead than if we don't have the money. So that is where we need to start looking into our healthcare security, how we could develop from the diagnosis, treatment to prevention, which is vaccine, therapeutic, and also detection. Okay. And then we want to share with you our journey in the preclinical and clinical phase. As I mentioned, when we started this, there was no precedent, there was no guideline. It was challenging to us. In fact, we do not know. We've been hearing a lot of stories of FDA, EFSA, a lot of stories, but basically all the stories that we heard mostly wrong. We went through our own hands-on experience dealing with regulatory in Europe and in US, and of course in Malaysia. And we are lucky to have very supportive NPRA new team, Dr. Zaril, especially being supportive, being guiding us to find the balance between what we should do, what we can do to move forward with the clinical. Okay, now as I mentioned, Herbal 𝐏𝐚𝐴 Fatimah is known, a lot of records on this in the manuscripts, in Berkil, in all the books, in all the publications, you name it. You have everything. In fact, you have everything also published in the preclinical journals all over the world. But where is the product? As in the clinical context, almost none. So what we do is we commercialize. We took up from Arwah Prof. Zahari. He conducted research on 𝐏𝐴 Fatimah, particularly on obesity, and then back in 2012, and then 2014 it was completed, and we were tasked to commercialize it, and then we started working on it 2015. From there, we work towards preclinical and clinical. When I say that preclinical, we covers the cells, rodents and non-rodents, and all our preclinical data is GLP OECD data, and then we have human data, clinical data as well. We have efficacy, we have obesity, 2 models, diabetic, cancer, etc., and then including COVID-19. So we have quite significant pipelines on that. And then now our focus is going to obesity, diabetic, and cardiovascular in stages. Okay, that is what we are doing now. Now, okay, this is how we do. As I said that in Malaysia, there's no different when it comes to, in fact, tougher, I guess, because of maybe the preconceived idea that herbal medicine or herbal by itself is not safe because of the preconceived ideas, I guess so. But we go by the regulatory. This is credit to IMR, the flow of getting your product to be investigated clinically. You need to get approval from at least 3 independent parties, right? You need to get National Research Development of Herbal Medicine to endorse your findings that fit into the intention of the study. For example, that you want to do obesity, you must show animal data that shown there's effects to that disease. And then you need to produce your document, investigation brochure. IB is the toughest, is the technical papers from A to Z. You need a clinician, you need a biostatistician, you need everything. Basically just, I like to quote this, whatever that Pfizer does in their clinical study is exactly that we have to do. There's no different. You read IB, you know the content that IB requires. So we need to give all the information in the IB. And then of course you need to follow the PIS, patient information consent, which is key. We abide to the 𝐈𝐨𝐃 guidelines, follow to the T, which is I salute that, because that plays a lot of confidence to the global regulatory body when they look into our data, because they say, oh, Malaysia follow this standard, so it's easier. So this is something that's very interesting when we follow the global standards. And then of course, oh yeah, another thing is your ingredient must be formulated in a pharma grade PICS, not a traditional medicine GMP. So you need to read into the therapeutic guideline, and you need to submit a CTX. Okay, all these agencies, or all, if I can say agencies, parties, work independently. Why I'm saying that work independently? They can reject your application without, regardless who approved it earlier. For example, that if you pass through 2 parties, and then CTX, for example, I give you, this is the actual scenario. When we want to do COVID-19, we submitted, we got a clearance from National Research NRDHM, and then we submitted to ethics review, and then rejected our protocol. We have to redo, and then we have to resubmit whole new protocol, and then we got it approved. And we got it approved, we submit to NPRA. NPRA says, Razak, we submitted our data, safety data on human, and then NPRA came back to us and said, Razak, we want the human data we submitted is about 16 pages. And then NPRA came back, Razak, we want a specific E3 format, if not mistaken, E3 format. And then from that 16 pages turned up into 120 pages. So that's why I say that there's no difference when it comes to regulatory clearances, which is it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. Also, it's good put us into the global view that Malaysia has that quality of standards, which is but it can be expensive. That's why it's not easy for just anyone to come into this segment. And because of this also, we highlighted to NPRA, at least you come up with a modern claim that allows some room for a product that has gone through some scientifically and clinical evidence can be registered, rather than they stuck in the traditional medicine category. And then if you were to jump to therapeutic, it's going to be huge longkang or for you to jump. Right. So this is our pictures. We conducted the studies in Malaysia, clinic kesihatan and also hospital under MOH, and in Indonesia and also in India. And then Alhamdulillah, we've published our results in DOM. Is a peer-reviewed medical journal. Impact factor, I have to put impact factor 6.4 because I'm not from academic. I learned this when we first going to publish it. They said, Razak, it's important that you submit your results to a peer review, and then also it's important that journal is Q1, Q2, or Q3, or something like that, you know. And I said it's important to be Q1, and then we also look into the impact factor, because impact factor 5 and above is considered you can just celebrate. That's what some professor told me. Okay, I said fine. Then we worked towards that, and then it's very interesting journey as well. A lot of questions came back from the reviewers. We have 4 independent reviewers review our data, and then bounce back with all the feedback, and finally we got it published. And then when we got it published, interestingly, Monash jumped in, sponsored the publication to make it open to everybody. If not, then we have to pay about $4,000 plus, almost $5,000 plus. And then Monash jumped in and said, okay, you can write into our license and then make it available to the public. And so it's a blessing in disguise. So that is what we have done to date. And then, but we have not done with our work yet. We have completed preclinical, we have completed phase 1, we have completed phase 2, and we hope that we could complete phase 3, that moving towards therapeutic and then can be used to treat diabetic and obesity disease in Malaysia of SK7 and export it to the world. Even though with the current data that we have, we got a lot of interest from Europe, from US, from Korea. Korea found about us through Google. Interesting, when we got our clearances from FDA and EFSA, our data is published globally, and then they Google, they found us. And then I asked them, how do you find us? They said, oh, we Google because we were looking for product that has for women's health. So women's health is very important. It's a big market. Don't forget that. And then I'll say that, okay, fine. And then this is what we are working on that. So, but our goal is you want to be one of the first Malaysian homegrown drug to treat the disease, and hopefully can be also exported, because that could contribute to our GDP as well. Okay, doctors using, they still want to test on themselves. So we have Dr. Kazimi, I got the consent from them. They tested before they on themselves, and then remarkably, Dr. Kazimi reported significant loss. But our focus is not on BMI. If you want to go into the obesity, it's very complex disease design, but it's not much on BMI. We focus on the waist circumference, because waist circumference will give you clear indication whether the chances of you getting other diseases, cardiovascular, etc. And then Dr. Shafiq, also one of our trial subject on themselves, and then they monitored, and then interesting feedbacks. So this is my last slide. In a nutshell, as I mentioned, we have our God-given biodiversity. This is Prof. Nur Hadiani. I got it from her presentation where she mentioned we are the 12th most biodiverse nation in the world, one of the world's oldest rainforests, and out of 17,000 higher plants, 3,000 species have medicinal values. Many of them remain largely unexplored. So, as I said, we have what it takes. We have the guidelines now, we have the policies, we have the experience, we have the scientists. And then I have to say this, when we develop our clinical study, I can safely say 90% of that talents are from Malaysia. Only 10%, because 10% we have to send outside the test because Malaysia doesn't have a full-blown GMP facilities. So because our full-blown is involving non-rodent as well, so we have to do it outside of Malaysia. But as I said, that the talent, we have the experts, we have the knowledge, we have the regulations. So I don't know why we cannot do it. There's no reason we cannot do it. So hopefully more will come out soon with the advancement of regulations, policies in place. Thank you. So do I answer question now or I take it later?
Take it later.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Cik Razak, for the eye-opening, the commercializations of herbal products in Malaysia. So I think without further ado, I would like to invite our next speaker or next panelist, Puan Azeera. She's a pharmacist and now Puan Nurul Azeera. She's a pharmacist from NPRA. She will highlight on the guidelines on the registrations of herbal products in Malaysia. So the screen is yours.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum. Very good morning to all the panelists and everyone. My name is Azeera. I'm currently working under complementary and alternative medicine section under Center of Product and Cosmetic Evaluations. So today I'm just going to elaborate a bit about the registration process for natural product in Malaysia. So according to the Control of Drug and Cosmetic Regulation in 1984, all no person shall manufacture, sell and supply, import and possess or administer any product unless the product is registered product and the person hold the appropriate license required and issued under these regulations. Okay, so registration is one of the ways we use to ensure the safety and quality of product. Other than that, we also see in terms of the quality control, the good manufacturing practice, and also the post-marketing surveillance after the product has been registered. Okay. Registration for the traditional medicines have begun in 1992, and we have beginning to allow natural product with therapeutic claim in 2020. And coming soon, we will come out with a new guideline for modern claim, hopefully by this year. And as for the registration and requirement and procedure for natural product, currently all the registration must go through the Quest system online, where they need to submit it through the integrated and computerized registration system. And all the registration and variation and other transaction will be done through the system. And this is our current guideline that we use to serve as a reference guideline for registration process. As for the natural product, currently we're using the Appendix 7 with conclude all the registration of homeopathic product as well as the natural product with therapeutic guidelines. So this is our process of product registrations. The first step, normally applicant need to submit for the screening process via the Quest system. And then after we have accept all the full dossier, we will do the evaluation process. At the same time, they need to submit for the sample for the lab testing. And we will proceed after that with the technical assessment, which is there will be a correspondence between the evaluator and also the correspondent with the applicant. After the assessment completed, we will presented at the NPRA Evaluation Committee. And lastly, after that, we will submit to the DCA meeting for the final report presentation at DCA. And after that is a registration generated ML number. And currently we have two types of evaluation, which is a brief evaluation and also full evaluation. For a brief evaluation, we have like 160 working days. And for multiple ingredient, we have 136 working days. And for full evaluation, the timeline is 245 working days. So for the traditional medicine and modern claim falls under the brief evaluation, and for the therapeutic claim is falls under the full evaluation. So under the meaning of the traditional medicine, under the CDCR 1984, so any product used in the practice of indigenous medicine in which the drug consists solely of one or natural occurring substance of a plant, animals or minerals in the form of unextract or crude extract form and homeopathic medicine, and it shall not include any sterile preparation, vaccine, and any substance derived from human part and any isolated and characterized chemical substance. Apart from that, we also have homeopathic medicines, which refers to any pharmaceutical dosage form used in the homeopathic therapeutic system, where diseases are treated by the use of minute amounts. So all the natural products that are required to be registered, all the formulations contain natural ingredient source as defined earlier, and the dosage form, any product with pill, tablet, capsule, liquid, or tea bag need to be registered with NPRA, and indication with medicinal claims. And for products that do not require to be registered, such as extemporaneous preparations, which is directly and prepared given to the patient by the traditional practitioner, and then manufacturing process which only involve drying or cutting into pieces without any further processing, a food without medicinal claim, or any herbal preparation taken as food or consumed as a drink or beverage with no medical claim, no need to be registered, and cosmetic without medicinal claim, which is normally is a topical preparations. Okay, product that are not allowed to be registered as natural product, which are as listed under the Poison Act, such as the foxglove leaf, which is contain digoxin, and then list of non-permissible indications as listed according to the Medicine Advancement and Sale Act 1956, such as diabetes, cancer, hypertension, and also ingredient caused by which can cause adverse effects. Example, ursodeoxycholic acid, which can cause the kidney dysfunction, and also ingredient derived from the human origin, such as the carbonized human hair and human placenta, which can tonify the kidney and mouth blood, and ingredient derived from the prohibited and endangered animal species, such as rhino horn, tiger bone. That one we cannot register as natural product. So our registration, we follow the ACTD, which is the ASEAN Common Technical Dossier. So ASEAN Common Technical Dossier consists of 4 parts. Part 1 is an administrative data and also the product information. Part 2 involve the data to support the product quality document, such as the drug substance and the drug product, finished drug product. Part 3 involve the data to support the product safety non-clinical document. And part 4 is the data, the clinical document to support the product safety and efficacy. So for the traditional medicine claim and also the modern claim, you only required part 1 and part 2. For the therapeutic claim, applicant need to submit for part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So currently, we have 3 types of natural product, which is one is natural product with traditional claim, the second one is natural product with modern claim, and the third one is natural product with therapeutic claim. Yeah, we are aware, the NPRA are aware that we have received a few inquiry from the applicants saying that they have products that have clinical trial, but they don't have complete data to submit for therapeutic claim, but the indication that they want to propose does not also fall under traditional medicine. So this modern claim, we will try publish it by this year. So in terms of the formulation, I won't touch much because we haven't like finalized or the guideline yet. But then in terms of the formulation and the claim benefits and the level of evidence to support the indication, is slightly different in terms of the three category. So mostly for modern claim, it's supposed is limited to support the reduction of the risk of the disease or aid in assist in the management of the condition or any disease. And then for the therapeutic claim, we have also in the form all the products containing herbal or plant medicine ingredient in the form of standardized extract that have the constituents which don't have the therapeutic activity. So therapeutic claim is not documented in any established pharmacopoeia or monograph. It may include corroboration and verification of traditional use to relieve a symptom or help to treat a disease, disorder, or medical condition. And it must be substantiated by scientific evidence. Okay, this is the one of the requirement of all the requirement of a natural product with therapeutic claim. So basically, they need to complete all the 4 requirements: part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. And the GMP must be from the PICS country, and then they must follow the they need to comply with the OECD good laboratory practice. Okay, and the COA of raw material and standardized extract need to be complied with the raw material specification as stated in the monograph of pharmacopoeia of the related species, and clinical and preclinical data is needed to ensure the quality and safety and efficacy of the therapeutic claims. So currently, the amount that for the single active ingredient, the fees is 4,000 ringgit, and for more than 2 or more active ingredients, the fees is 5,000 ringgit. So this is the evolution of product dossier, which consists of the product validation, part 1 and part 2. So for part 1, consists of the product name, dosage form, active ingredient, excipients, and also other information. So one of the under product validation is product name. This all the requirement for the product name all can be seen in our guideline also in the DRGD. And then the source, the scientific source of the active ingredient that have the therapeutic role information, substance included in the formulation as active ingredient must make a contribution to, in the formulation to the proposed indications. So the evidence to support the document may be scientific or traditional, depends on the type of category of natural product. So source, scientific name, part of use, form of substance can be extract, raw herbs for traditional product, traditional medicine claim. For the modern claim, we allow for quantified extract and also standardized extract. But for the therapeutic claim, they must submit for standardized extract. So extraction ratio and assay must, if there's in the COA, must set it as well. So this is the product validation active ingredient, which is prohibited or banned ingredient. So any premix or isolated compound cannot be used in the natural product. So the functions and limits excipients are inactive substance in the formulations. So such as coloring agent, preservative, filler. So all must follow the limit in the established reference. So this is like it's just an example, like list of prohibited, restricted excipient as well the coloring agents. And for other information, we will ask for documents like the manufacturer, repacker for import and the imported product, replacement product, and product certificate halal. So all this information will be in these sections. And section, the part 1, which is this is all the requirement in part 1 that need to be provided. The product particulars, the product formulation, which consists of the active ingredient as well of the excipient, the batch manufacturing formula, the batch size must be submitted to NPRA. The particular of packing, the pack size, and the type of container used also must be submitted. The GMP manufacturer And for the GMP, for therapeutic claim, they must be from PICS country. But for modern and traditional medicine, GMP, local and imported, we can accept. The product labeling, for the product label, so they must follow the product labeling as stated in our guideline. Any warnings, any specific warning statement also must be stated. And then this is for traditional claim, this is the reference that normally provided, that we use and normally provided by the applicant. So this is it's just for traditional medicine and also for the modern claim, we're still using the same labeling as stated in the Appendix 7. Okay. Any claims of the active components like assay must be supported by the COA, FPQC, and also the stability studies. Okay. Any label or package insert like graphic or picture of internal organ, photograph of celebrities, logo with certification, clinical trial result, all this following, this one cannot be displayed on the label. Okay, this is one of the example of the specific warning statement for population which need to be included in the labeling. And this is a part of the supplementary documentation that need to be provided, such as the in between the product owner and manufacturer. And then for imported product, is either they have to provide the CPP, CFS, or the GMP. And other reference such as to support the indication, all we will ask in the supplementary document. And then for part 2, the product informations which applicant need to provide all the information regarding the quality document which involve the manufacturing process, in-process quality control, finished product quality control, and certificate of analysis of finished product, as well as the stability study. Okay, this as 1st of December 2022, all pre-market sample will be tested at the panel lab or manufacturer own quality control lab. So this is applicable to all the natural product category. So once they submit, they will get the reference number and they need to choose. This is one of our panel lab that is accredited by the NPRA. So they will have to check in the name and the dose and the test that can be conducted in the specific panel lab. So for the other compulsory tests that need to be tested during in the COA finished product is the organoleptic test, disintegration test, uniformity of weight, microbial contamination test, heavy metal contamination, and also assay test. Assay test if they claim it on the label. And apart from that, we also have safety testing requirement for specific ingredients, such as for bovine, so that we will ask for the BSE and TSE free certificate. And for the alpha-nomazine floss archeo, since it contains the microcystin, which is a class of toxin which can cause hepatotoxicity. So they need to show the test for this, and also the monoscus purpurus, which is a monocolumn K, and then botanical ingredient that have been adulterated with aristocolic acid. They must submit to the government doping center. Okay, this is the substance manufacture, which is the part S, which is normally this is the COA of the active ingredient, where they need to provide the scientific name, part of plant, form of substance, and then if they have the extract ratio, extraction solvent, assay test, all need to be stated in the COA. Okay, for the part 3, data to support the product safety, this part 3 need to be submitted for the therapeutic claim is to provide the comprehensive and factual synopsis of the non-clinical data. So non-clinical overview should address the interpretation of data and clinical relevance of the findings, cross-linking with the quality aspect of the pharmaceutical and the implication of the non-clinical finding for the use of the product. So the in vitro and in vivo are intended to generate the non-clinical data. So data from the animal study should be derived from animal model, which can represent human condition related to the claim. The methodology should be an acceptable and valid procedure to measure the parameter. So this is data very important to give preliminary efficacy and safety data prior to conducted to human study. So the part 4 is the data to support the clinical documents. So it addresses the requirement between the pharmacokinetic, pharmacodynamic, and efficacy, and also the safety studies. So it should be derived from intervention of human studies that are well designed in accordance with the recognized scientific principle with statistically and clinically significant outcome addressing the specific traditional claim. So it explains the overall approach to the clinical development. So, and also assess the quality of the design and performance of the studies, and to include in the statement regarding the GCP compliance. Okay. In conclusions, all the natural products sold in Malaysia must comply with the regulatory requirements and must be registered with the drug control authorities. And registered product will be given a ML registration number, and the product must be affixed with a hologram. Currently, we're using the suffix T for the traditional product and suffix B for the therapeutic claim. For modern claim, we haven't finalized yet. We will inform in the future if there's any new suffix for this modern claim. And then for post-market surveillance, activities are carried out regularly to ensure the quality and safety of registered traditional product, which is normally conducted after the product is being registered. So thank you. Thank you for the. This is all my presentation for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Puan Azeera, for the insightful presentations, and then probably some of us is a new informations. So I guess we have a few more questions that we will receive from our participants today. So without further ado, I would like to invite all our panelists to come to the screens. So we're going to start our Q&A sessions with our participants today. And with me now, we have several questions from our participants, that from both from Webex chat box and also in Facebook. So I'll start with the first questions. This question from Ramesh. Malaysia has been excellent on the regulations of herbal products. How is it being regulated on social media sales such as TikTok, Shopee, etc.? With almost anyone can sell and claim unknown herbal products. So anyone would like to take these questions?
And NPRA should respond on this, but I can start with this very brief response. Yes, in fact, I've written in the chat box already. Advertisement and sales of products on the social media are actually going against the Medicine Acts, most of them, Medicine Acts advertisement and sales 1956. I think it's more of enforcement here. I think, as you know, it's difficult to control social media. Based on my own experience, or based on my review on what's happening in social media, there's very little monitoring actually, and people are really misusing the social media to advertise and sell their products. And most of the products are not really backed with scientific research. In fact, most of it are for treatment use for high claim, and they are not really. And they claim that they got their MAL number from NPRA. Most of them registered as traditional medicine for general claim, but they advertise for high claim or used for treatment of serious diseases. So I think it's more of enforcement. I think NPRA can respond on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. So
Can I respond from industry, because I'm from the industry?
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'm from the company. So I think this is because I was involved in the policy development in Malaysia, regulation also I was involved in that. I guess that education, you know, you need to educate our consumers rather than rather than enforcing hard rules on the culprits. Because of when we start educating the consumer, they will start demanding quality products. Example that I give example because I deal with US and Europe and then Korea. They educate their public consumers what is good, what is bad, what is permitted and what is not permitted. So when you start educating that the knowledge is in the consumers, then they will start demanding accountability from the producers, and the producer will have to be acting in that manner. Because example, I give example, you're buying cars. You know, if your car start breaking down, then they will start demanding, you know, and then the manufacturer has to keep on improving. So these are the way of how things will improve when the consumer is empowered by understanding what is safe, what is not safe, what is permitted and what is not permitted. But you can never stop consumers to choose your preference, because I had a conversation with I don't have to name that professor, but she told me that they realized that some consumers for diabetic treatment, consumers are looking for natural remedies. So how do you stop that? You cannot stop that. But the only thing that you can educate that, okay, fine, you want to go for natural remedy, but make sure that it is safe, blah, 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 blah. So that, I think, more of education rather than enforcement, because of numbers of people trading on natural product is huge. You do not know where they're going to buy it. And after all, we are open economy. They can just import outside of Malaysia. But I guess also it's unfair to us, like Medika, Natura, we follow to the T all the regulations. Suddenly, you know, 𝐈𝐴𝐽𝐻 and 𝐴CHONG company come out with a bogus claim, and then voila, they get away with that. I think that also that one, I hope that NPRA can come hard on them lah, kan, because that's a clear cut. They call it macam timbang kilo products, right? So it's clear cut. It's known in the industry, but you know they can scot free and then selling all that promises and dreams. Yeah, that's industry. So you have to balance between. But once you start educating, you can see that the change of the producer. You know, because the awareness of the consumer getting stronger, getting better. You know, white skin is not good, you know, when apply, that kind of thing. So yeah.
All right, thank
I
you.
think consumer education is important, but the ethics by researchers and also by the industry players also playing very important role.
Yeah, true.
The industry players are more towards getting profit without being ethical, and you can see in the social media especially. As I said, most of them, they register the product and with NPRA, extraction medicine, they get the MAL, the T at the end of the series. It's a TC, this extraction medicine. But yet, when they advertise, they're selling it and making a lot of money as for treatment claim. And this has been going on for a long time. It's difficult. And also, this also relates to the act or to the law, where the fine, the penalty for those doing this is very, very, very low or very cheap. You got 3,000, 10,000 Malaysian ringgit penalty, yet they are making thousands of profit out of it. And also, the researchers also have to be ethical. And in fact, some researchers are collaborating with the industry players to promote half-baked products without any, in fact, in vivo data, with in vitro data, promoting the product to treat disease. And of course, clinical data is not easy to come up with, but yet you can see a lot of these products together with scientists, promoting it to treat diseases. Some are major diseases, cancer, hypertension, and so on. So this is the situation in Malaysia. I think education, you don't need we need education for the consumer, also not only for consumer, for the industry players too, and also the scientists have to be ethical and they have to understand the risk benefit analysis. Yeah? When you do research, you have to know your direction, the end products, whether your product has the required or enough information for it to be developed into products for human use. All this have been, I think, NPRA have to play, I think, a leading role, especially on monitoring of this product. We want to respond on Nurul. Thank you.
As a regulator, actually, we receive a lot of complaint from the consumer actually that they can find this product all over the media social. As for actually they can make lodge a report to the enforcement department. However, there are too many products in the media social. Even they find the company. At the end of the day, they will come back again selling in the media social. It's just that we need to. They have so many doing like enforcement. The consumer itself, like, they have to aware that this product that sell online can be very dangerous to their health. But then for our like our side, like enforcement side, we are trying our best to make these problems go away. But then since there are too many products and too many complaints at the same time, so maybe in the future the consumer as well must do their part lah.
Yeah, I agree, because I think it's a consumer education, because we interact a lot with consumers. In fact, yesterday, as I mentioned, that a lady, open heart surgery, called me, said, Razak, Cik Razak, can I know about your product? I said that what your condition is. As I said, okay, and I'll listen to her, and then being a responsible product owner, I said that, okay, maybe you should consult with your physician first. So that kind of, I think it's more of like more individual accountability, because that's how I see in US, in Europe, they pass it to the consumer to decide. Because of Malaysia, I have to say this, we like to play this father-mother rules that you have to listen to the father, cannot lah forever into that situation. The son has and the daughters has start to be responsible on their own action. So that context tu lah yang nampak they are educating the consumers, and when the consumers start aware about the safety and efficacy of the product that they are going to take, so that is where the industry will start meeting the demand from the consumers. The problem is kita punya consumer tak nak, because of they try to buy cheap. Okay, this is another thing also. Consumer try to go for cheap solution, fast solution. Sometimes the fast solution ni is a lot of contaminated dengan all these substance kan. So it's complex lah. I agree dengan Puan Azeera. It's not easy. It has to go, if I ask me personally, has to go back to the consumers and consumer education, empowerment. That is also when we discussed dengan NPRA way back in 5 years ago, talking about middle claim. That also, we want to, you know that the dilemma for us, when we have a preclinical and clinical, but we start in traditional medicine. So I guess some of them are genuine, because they don't have the guidelines for them to use to label their product. So hopefully dengan modern claim ni, so you can start differentiating more clarity, that product with traditional, product with scientific, product with clinical. So that is how I see important of the regulation. Yeah.
Thank you for the comments. I guess, Prof, I think we need to have more professors and doctors or Professor Madia to create their TikTok accounts to create more awareness, and then talk about the adverse effects, etc. on the natural products, etc. All right, we move on to the next questions. This question from Prof Madia, Dr. Mohamad Dasuki. The question goes, how to commercialize potential essential oil as inhaler for medical purposes or for treating disease like depression, if we already have the chemical compounds in vitro and in vivo studies result and published. So, Prof, is it considered half-baked research? they already have the chemical compounds in vitro and in vivo studies.
Yeah, I think for human use, as in the guidelines for nature product for human use or treatment, you need clinical data. You need study on human, essential oil for human use. For treatment claim or treatment of diseases, they require elaborate preclinical and proper clinical data. So what's happening? It's a lot. Some people claim to have some clinical trials, but they don't have really proper clinical study design. Some they have a very small sample size and so on, and they don't have the when they just do some preliminary clinical study, they claim that their products have undergone clinical studies. But actually, if you look at the drug discovery herbal medicine pipeline, you need the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it's not easy. As I said, very important is to have this strategy in place first, rather than you take the risk of doing to come up with products for human treatment. It's very long, very costly, and the success rate is very, very low. And you look at what's happening in the US, they are not considering plant-based as medicine. They categorize them as health supplements. The reason for that is it's not easy to put claims for human treatment. And if you have a complex mixture, multi-component, to do research to identify how the mechanism, how it acts, how it interacts, it's different in modern drug. You have one molecule interacting one receptors, and the pharmacology well established. But if you're working on complex herbal extract, for example, there's a lot of things to study. That's the reason why until now they are not considered as drugs or botanical drugs. They are in the category health supplements or as functional food. It seems you look at in China, they are moving forward towards still quality control and safety. Efficacy, they allow it to be used under the traditional system. Yeah, the contemporary medicine, yeah, they allow that to be used. But when they commercialize it for treatment use, it's a long way. So if you look at products in China, in US, in Europe, yeah, they are more advanced. They consider herbal medicine. In fact, the physician they can prescribe herbal medicine in Europe. Yeah, they have different act or different guidelines on that. But still, they need clinical data, very concise, proper clinical trial study. Otherwise, it cannot be used for human treatment. So a lot of people in the market claiming that they got approval from here and there, but the approval is sometimes just for mild use or for mild claim or for medium claim, but yet they say it's used to treat diseases. For example, you got it classified as food, as functional food. You cannot reuse it for treatment. You can use it as a superfood for health benefit and so on, but you cannot use it to treat disease. So there's a lot of disinformation or misinformation about this.
Can
And
I
as I
respond
said,
to that? Because I
now-
think Prof. Dasuki would like to ask about how to go with the commercialization. Allow me to respond that because I'm a panel of MOSTI, where we're reviewing applications. My suggestion to Prof. Dazuki, is it good that you already have in vitro, in vivo studies, and then take cue from the point Azeera, where they're going to introduce the modern claim guidelines. So I believe that your essential oils inhaler, actually that can fall into two categories. It could be a medical device with a biological material, because I said also I've seen application where they submitted medical device and biomaterial. So maybe my suggestion to Prof. Dasuki, sit down dengan NPRA and also MDA, the Medical Device Authority. They will guide you which pathway that you can apply for your clinical trial. But in terms of clinical trial, you can also write on the modern claim, because I saw the draft from the modern claim where I give feedback. Hopefully the feedback will be taken into consideration by MPRA. So that test in vivo, in vitro too, only that concern here now, the safety component, because dalam guideline therapeutic, they require GLP safety data. So how do you context that? You need to sit down dengan NPRA, then they will able to guide you the best way and how to test it because of mechanism of actions, interaction through inhaling will be different through oral. So these are the knowledge of NPRA. And another thing is, I have to also mention that in the US, there's a guideline botanical drug for industry, comprehensive guideline botanical drug industry. In fact, the US FDA recognized drug derived from plant. And then you can Google, you find that botanical drug guideline from industry FDA. Basically, it's very interesting because they are more dynamic. They will take into consideration of your traditional background. Okay, this is what we learn from dealing with global regulatory. They try to reduce as much as possible animal testing. Okay, if you have a good documented evidence that can minimize the use of animal to further test on animals, that's what they're looking at. In fact, botanical drug guideline for industry, they will spell out what will be considered. Because in FDA, you can go for IND submission and then and so on and so forth. But I cannot detail it out because if I have to detail, you have to pay me lah because I paid a lot of money to learn FDA regulation. But now, as I said, that botanical drug guideline. So that they mentioned about the background. In fact, if you ask me, personally lah, my personal opinion, some of the publications by our local universities can go for IND application if you know how to put it together into that context, if you read that guideline. So just to say that, moving forward, all the works, please read the guideline because I dah sit as a panel, I receive a lot of application, not a lot lah, application from universities. Some of them do not even know NPRA guideline, Puan Azeera. They buat research, I cakap macam mana you all nak buat commercialization if you don't know the existence of NPRA guideline, because in the end of the day, NPRA is the one that hold the key to your commercialization. Because if you don't follow your guideline of NPRA, macam mana NPRA nak approve your product? So I hope that maybe NPRA could dengan university can go around and start educating about this guideline of after all you're going to come up with a modern claim kan. It's important lah Puan. Yeah.
Actually, our NPRA also have a classification section where if applicant not sure, they falls under medical device or traditional claim, food or cosmetic, they can submit to us the formulation and we will see this product falls under which category. Because if you mentioned just now about the essential oil as inhaler, right, can be, if let's say we do have inhaler, registered inhaler under traditional claim, but they able to give like the reference for that. But however, some of the product can falls under medical device as well.
All right. Thank you for the comments on these questions. Quite interesting to listen to. And then we move to the next one. This is a comment from Anwar Hashim, a remark from him. Great to hear the Labacity product going to worldwide. Salute to the late emeritus Prof. Zari and their team from the beginning. Glad to helping them, their team a little contributions. All right. The next question actually from Facebook, from Charlene Tam. The question goes, if we are keen to prepare our in vivo research findings of a botanical product for NPRA approval later, what would be the guideline on experimental design such as animal sample size, etc., that we should refer to make sure that the preclinical data that we produce will be accepted by NPRA? I think this one probably to Puan Nurul.
Actually, okay, if they want to know more about the experimental design, I think the best section they can contact is the CTIL section because they are the one that conduct the clinical trials. If they want the contact, they can get through our NPRA website, and also our guideline also got mentioned. If not mentioned in guideline, they can contact our CTIL section. Because I also, for my part, I'm not sure about this this which guideline dia falls under lah.
All right.
I can add
Thank
a
you,
bit.
Pak Nurul.
Just add a bit
Okay.
because it involve clinical kan. Because we gone through the process. Basically in the preclinical there are two parts. Satu safety, satu efficacy. Okay. It can be in vitro, in vivo lah. Kan. So the safety part is clear cut. Kalau untuk therapeutic, NPRA stated clearly must be OECD GLP safety data. No compromise on that. And also must be in the pharma grade pigs. Okay, that's clear cut on the regulatory. But on the efficacy, normally what I think on university this should be normal to normal to university. You will go for animal design. The animal design you have to submit to your ethics. You have a triple ALAC lab. Some of them macam UM ada triple ALAC kan. Triple A lab to lab kan animal ethics kan. You have to submit. So your study must be designed according to the intended disease. Remember I said that to you earlier. In moving forward for therapeutic, you need to submit your data to NRDHM. They will evaluate whether your animal study meet the intended study. For example, you want to do obesity, your animal data must show that has potentially to treat obesity before you can apply to human. So that's why you need to differentiate between efficacy and then safety. But safety, please, as I said that I banyak kali tengok juga university apply for grant to apply for safety, but they do not want they punya safety standard they go by guided by GLP. No such thing of guided by GLP for NPRA. NPRA must be in the GLP facility. The GLP the lab must be certified. Itu must be clear. Kalau tidak nanti rugi duit. Buat safety data but kat university lab yang tak ada GLP certification. Itu clear cut.
All right. Thank you. Okay, that is done. Another remark from Wardah Mustafa Din. She said, very proud to hear the earnest effort done by Medika Natura to raise the level of our local natural products. Congratulations. Wardah said. All right, the next question is from Dr. Nozarina binti Abdul Wahab. So the question goes, does the product that is used for external treatment also need to go through an in vivo test before it can be commercialized? Anyone would like to take these questions? External treatment, does it really need in vivo testing?
I think regardless of the route of administration, if it is for treatment used to treat human disease, you need clinical data. I'm referring to the present act. Unless you come up with the medium claim that's supposed to come up with, if it's for modern claim, as mentioned by Nurul just now, is to reduce the risk of disease. So if it's for topical application, if the claim is if you mentioned the word to reduce the risk of inflammation, for example, or reduce the risk of contamination. So maybe the new category, their modern claim can help on this. But at the present act or the present regulation, any route of administration, whether it's topical or oral or other routes of administration, if it's used for human, it has to come out with clinical data.
But just to add bit sebab the external treatment ni can be, I tak tahu whether she refers to cosmetic application ke, cosmeceutical ke atau therapeutic. But for example, like if you want to go for cosmeceutical, be careful because of if you intended to export, don't test on animal because animal ethics on cosmetic is no. You have to learn how to test on embryo level. So there's a technique on that lah, kan? That is on cosmetic, but on the therapeutic, of course, NPRA guideline is stated clearly. Tapi kalau you ask me kan, commercialization ni is a you have to be creative. Not everything. Most important thing is safety is in place. Lepas tu you try to make product that can be used applied in human, but you don't have to go for any claim yet. But at least, for example, that you get feedback, from that you can advanced in certain stage, because macam clinical study ni is a very tricky part, you know. It can be success or failure, and it can be cost a lot if you don't design it clearly. So saya cakap, it's important that you tengok balik kat mana you can come in, and then you design according to that. And kalau you can go to cosmetic, then maybe in vivo is not required. Kan banyak kan kosmetik produk yang katakan kulit boleh tegang lah, itulah inilah kan, tapi tak ada pun clinical data kan, tapi dia jual as a cosmetic product. You pergilah dekat you know, a lot of pharmacy and beauty salon kan. Itulah, it has to be creative lah juga.
All right, thank you. I think here Prof Radeni raised her hand. Prof, you want to ask questions? Tak dengar, Prof.
All right. Okay. Terima kasih. All right. I thought it's easier to just ask in person. I wish I can see Encik Razak and Puan Nurul. Anyway, thank you so much to all the panels for inviting MNPS for accepting MNPS invitation for this webinar. I think this is a very important thing, and going forward, this is what we have been trying to do more in order to reach more players and more people of interest in the herbal area community. I just want to ask a very simple question, actually, taking a few step backs from regulations and commercialization, but a more practical questions probably addressed to Encik Razak about how do you as a company address the issue of reliable, consistent supply of herbal raw materials? Because I don't know, even as a researcher, when we get projects to study certain herbs, we do have problems getting can take good quality herbal sample. So as manufacturer or as a producer, I can imagine this is even more critical for you because as we know that the chemical content and the biological properties of any herbal material is actually a performance or a moment in time. So there's a lot of variation. And how do you address the supply, and how do you address the quality control or tools, which is, I think, very, very important because how do we get good quality, consistent product without good quality herbal materials?
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Prof. Basically, the keyword is standardization. Because if you look into the therapeutic guideline also about standardization, when we deal with FDA and also EFSA, they're talking about active ingredient, marker compound, bioactive compound. So basically, there is, as I said, that when we grow, there was no clear guideline. There was not emphasizing on standardization very new to the context that it's not been practiced widely. So what we did is we take the cue from Prof Zahri. He standardized, he identified the active compound, and the active compound too we tie to the monograph first. Yeah. For example, that kalau Kacik Fatimah is gallic acid, so we tie one of our marker compound, although we standardize our extract to 30 plus compounds, we fingerprinted. We do HPLC, we do LCMS, and then kita ada juga internal control. Kalau HPLC and LCMS data does not meet our standard, we throw away our extract, Prof, to the extent. So that's is internal control lah. Kita value our work, so we make sure that our quality must be what we establish first. Lepas tu pula by monograph the gallic acid, and then we standardize above. Of course, you want to differentiate with standardize above because our method of extraction is different. And with that, we make sure that every batch of production is consistent. For example, FDA, when we submitted for new dietary ingredient, they requested 3 non-batch consecutive of HPLC LCMS data. EFSA requested 5 non-consecutive batch production. And then for Korea, they minta 3 non-consecutive batch production. So all these batches has to be identical according to your established fingerprint. Of course, you need to have your own internal validated method lah kan. I learned that, okay, by the I'm not a scientist. My background is accountancy. So I'm struggling to learn some of the term. But basically, you have a validated in-house method, validated, etc. So you run it. So that is how we control it, because why it's important we control from the beginning, because kita also will conduct PK/PD study, pharmacokinetic, pharmacodynamics, and we hold to that one particular ingredient to see what is the half-life. Technical lah. So that's why we go to that. Kita punya design is a drug design. So when we design, when we say that SKF72 is an API, it's an active pharmaceutical ingredient. It's not Kacik Fatimah anymore. It's an API that we have a detailed HPLC Alzheimer's data. Only we disclose to regulatory, we tak disclose, and then kita conduct. Tu yang kita buat. The keyword is standardization.
Yeah, okay.
Once we have that, yeah.
Itu saya faham. I think, Cik Razak, I think that's great what you're doing in terms of quality control, but you are already in the phase of, let's say, processing. Maybe I did not ask the question correctly just now. I think my concern is about the plant material.
Oh, plant material. Oh, some of it we have we've been developing our source of supply since 2015. So we have a dedicated suppliers to supply, and then some of that material we import because of quality better from outside. But the quality of import also kita screen our material. So basically kita screen from the beginning, Prof.
Yeah,
kita screen, lepas tu kita once that supplier dah meet our standard, dia dah tahu macam mana kita nak dah. So kita import. Tapi mula-mula tu memang tough lah, because of they do not know your standard.
Yeah, so so I was that's where I'm going to make my point to. I think for the herbal industry in Malaysia, in the country, I think we do have a big gap and issue in the material itself, because you rightly say that some of the materials for your production can be met by the local industry player, right? So you have to import it somewhere. So I think that's where maybe scientists and practitioners put our hands together, because I think that's where the needs are, and that's where, if let's say this herbal agenda is being made into a social innovation project where our lower income B40 group farmers can be put in a system where they could be taught and produce a consistent herbal materials, and we are now going to be addressing the lower part as well. Right, okay, because I think it doesn't matter how much regulation and commercialization ideas and so on, if we are not touching the very bottom line of the issue, I think at some point we fail as a nation. So I think maybe this is where we can put our heads together and probably make this as a national agenda, bringing the pipeline from the very beginning to right to the end. That's just some of the thoughts of a retired person.
Yeah, betul, Prof, because I want to add, I keep on emphasizing without rasa malu lah. I say that if you want to develop Malaysian economy, high-tech economy, herbal is one of the area. And then if you want to develop Malay economies, which is kebanyakan majority Malay miskin kan, compared to other ethnics, and which is other ethnics also can come on board, indigenous semua, herbal, because indigenous and Malay traditional are using herbs in their context. They can relate better, they know better. So this is why I say that if you want to do that, herbal is one of the key industry, because and the herbal also, my earlier presentation, 40% of drugs derive from herbs. So just imagine, I think your paper, Prof, you mentioned 3,000 medicinal plants. 3,000 medicinal plants too is a new drug discovery for us. And then if you throw in AI, artificial intelligence on drug discovery, kita become rich country by, it's given. That's why I said that I rasa pelik why the government, I have to say that because I say to everybody, why the government do not look into herbal industry? Are they thinking that kita ni kalau herbal ni traditional? Sebab I pernah cakap tau dengan doctors, okay, sampai tak saya cakap, Encik Razak, takkanlah I nak bagi my patient makan kacip Fatimah. Apa mak I cakap? I cakap, what? Because the perception, bila herbal ni kita tak modern, bila herbal ni kita tak sophisticated, but it's not. Herbal ni, kalau you throw in your scientific clinical knowledge, it turn into a drug, which is MPRA has a guideline. So tu I cakap, actually guideline tu, why I'm emphasizing ni, Prof, because masa we were appointed as a chairman and co-chair for National Biotechnology Policy, each industry segment have to come up with a flagship. So the two flagship under healthcare wellness, one of it is botanical drug and high value natural ingredient. And then kita dah ada flagship, lepas tu regulation dengan MPRA pun dah ada, cukup. My concern apa tahu, kalau kita tak buat anything, the regulation will be benefiting foreign product. Because MPRA punya guideline stated clearly, kalau you meet all my regulation, I cannot stop you from registration your product. That is also why the first therapeutic natural product approved by MPRA is from Korea, from Taiwan. And then you know the ingredient that used in the ingredient is Santella, Prof.
It's something that we do a lot.
Can I comment on that? Actually, as mentioned in my presentation, the research approach, the commercialization thing are not appropriate. That's the reason. Research approach, as I mentioned, if you look at one in China, in US, they are focusing on quality and safety. For you to work, to come up with efficacy data, it's not easy. So you look at what happened in Indonesia. They are going for jamu. Jamu is a traditional claim or a low claim. Of course, they have phytopharmaceuticals, very few of them in the market. So strategy, research strategy, marketing strategy. I mentioned about Herbalife, how they are very successful in promoting their herbal products. People in Malaysia are moving for treatment, but it's not easy. To me, it's really not practical. Yeah, if you want herbal industry to prosper in Malaysia, you come to help people, as you say, the B40, for example, make them involved, produce products of high quality and safe, and use it. It can be a contemporary use, we don't need for registration, or they can use as a mild claim. Don't go for high claim. High claim, of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't go into research for high claim, for efficacy. Yeah, you continue. That's for long term. For short term, focus on quality products. As long as a product is safe for human use, go ahead and make it into industry. That should be the approach. And people have to be, as I said, educated. People, not only the consumer, people industry have to be educated and ethical, and researcher have to know the direction of research, and all this have to be put together. And in my presentation, I also mentioned about collaboration of people from industry, people from the government, scientists. They have come together, and what we are doing today is very good. One as a step forward. We have to look at the problems and how to move forward. Otherwise, it will be like this. But I mean, continue without producing any products of substantial impact, in the market. Yeah, we just talk about the problems, the problem of scientists publish papers without any being used to help the industry, and the level of understanding or information on herbal use by the people in the consumer, people industry, and research are not at the level compared to the developed countries. It is more strategy. Don't go for too much on treatment claim because it's very expensive. The failure rate is very high. Why don't you focus effort, energy, come up with products that are safe for human use, of high quality? As what you look at Body Shop, you look at what the success story of Herbalife and other international company based on a natural product or based on our plant-based products. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe if I may, dengar tak? Okay.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I may, maybe there are one of the things that we can learn from our neighboring countries. For example, Thailand. Yeah. There are initiatives where they bring this herbal agenda to the communities, to local farmers, and tie up little small farming industry, agro industry, to plant herbals and process herbals in a very good quality way, in such a manner that they actually export the herbal material to advanced countries like Germany, okay, to make into a product, okay, and this one has a very big social impact. For example, they produce kunyit, yeah, just curcumin, very high quality curcumin extract, using integrated 120 farming small farmers, okay, but processed in a very standard manner, and then quality control, and they actually export this curcumin extract to Germany. Okay, and that actually brings a lot of economical benefits to the country, because this particular high quality extract is sought after now and fetch a very high price. So I think there are different aspects of natural products that we can look to actually grow our economy. Besides all the nice things that we already have, I think all those regulations and commercialization is very much needed, but there's also the early end that we should not be closing our eyes to. That's just a point. Macam tadi Cik Razak kata, you buy raw materials from other countries. That's what they're doing, kan? Okay, if we can produce that very good quality herbal material, that is a starting point for bigger things for the country, in the form of raw materials, but also in the form of opportunities to product good quality products.
Kalau I want to add to that, Prof, because we got, as I said that bila kami dapat clearance from EFSA and FDA, we got a lot of interest from Europe companies and US to buy our ingredients, right? Tetapi kami tak jual, kami tak nak jual. Kalau saya nak jadi kaya, saya dah jual ingredient immediately lah, because I don't have to think marketing. Why? Because bila kita tengok balik the value chain, kita become still a middle income country. Because if we were to become a developed country, you need to start producing products. Products means that this, ambil example contoh Korea sajalah. Because Korea ni dulu miskin daripada kita. 1960s kita kaya GDP daripada Korea, tapi sekarang dia punya GDP is 2 times of us. You tengok banyak produk Korea, banyak produk Korea is productizing dia punya research. That's why a lot of Korean from beauty product kat Malaysia kan. Sebab being a developed, you need to start exporting, and then how to export it, that is where the regulation come into play. That's why I'm glad when NPRA dah come out with the middle claim tu. Alhamdulillah, kita now ada perfect, almost perfect lah, not perfect but almost perfect regulatory framework. Kita ada policies. So if you ask me, and then we have talent. Remember, Prof, you are coming from university, a lot of hidden gem kat Jantan tu tau. Kita, when we met a lot of professors, young researchers, banyak talent. So what I'm suggesting, yes, you can do export, but try to more focus on product. At least start with substituting Malaysian imports. Malaysia, kalau you tengok our data, kita importing healthcare and wellness products in the billions. How many wellness company kat Malaysia produce product? How many that actually healthcare company in Malaysia produce product? Almost none, or almost very little compared to the size of volume that we import. And then people like to say, oh, Malaysia is a small country. Yes, we only have 32 million, but our healthcare imports run in the billions. Come on lah, you pergi kat pharmacy, tengoklah health supplement jual tu. It can start with, try to replace that brand. I don't have any brand lah. Start to replace that with Malaysian made. Kita ada talent. Kita ada macam Prof Jantan cakap kan pasal Ibrahim Jantan kan, Prof Ibrahim cakap pasal work on that quality product. Yes, I agree. Start. At least kita start substituting, reducing the imports, and then promoting local use, and then go out to the world. And then when you say Indonesia, because I involve Indonesia quite extensive juga lah. They are proud with the local industry. That's why they are very protective. Even Thailand pun Prof protective bila they got to know our ingredient. Oh, Mr. Razak, we cannot import your product because you will compete with our local products. Walaupun so-called ASEAN harmonization, that is only on paper. But when it comes to business, they still protecting. So I say that we have to look into replacing, substituting. That will be generating a lot of money, and then that money will be circulating in this country rather than we pay outside. Kan? Sebab I pernah come across company that memang all dia punya product line semua dia import. Even manufactured outside of Malaysia. Itu yang my thinking lah kalau nak start developing, and then with that also you can start the B40, the TikTokers to start selling quality product macam Prof Ibrahim cakap. You know, when you have more product, kan, banyaklah orang boleh jadi gig economy ni. Tak semestinya bawa motor, bawa food. They can also selling product, kan? Tetapi kita kena ada quality product lah. That the cycle tu will take place. Itu yang I nampak lah, kan? And then our industry will grow, our economy will grow, and our money going out also will be minimized.
Okay. Thank you for the response. Dr. Shazeli, back to you.
All right. Thank you for the. I think I learned a lot also today. I think we quickly go through some questions from our participants and then we finish up because we can have a Friday prayer later. Okay, question from Ahmad Hanif Jafar. What about functional food products, food with health benefits similar to Foshu Japan and food for health Korea? Which categories to register so that we have some acknowledgement on the quality, safety, and efficacy? Thank you. Anyone would like to take this?
Oh, actually for the functional food, right? If let's say they want to declare the indication for the product, they need to register with NPRA because some of the product we do receive like honey in combination with other ingredients. But if let's say they don't want to declare any claim benefits, then they can go for the food product.
Because kalau Korea tu different sikit, very unique tau. Korea punya proses dia health food tau. Health food ni dia ada claim. They can make a health claim and clinical claim pun to that extent. That's why dia punya ginseng very popular. Kalau tengok kan. And then interesting about Korea ni, they approve at the ingredient. Katakanlah kalau you punya ingredients approve katakan 1000 mg kan per day, that when you turn into product, you don't have to go through another regulatory clearance. Macam kita setiap kali dose kita kena apply for NPRA kan, Puan kan?
Yes, betul.
Every time of dose, katakanlah you ada 50, 100, 150 blah, blah, blah. Setiap kali you kena dapat ke approval. Tapi Korea tak. Korea dia punya approval, you submit ingredient 1000 mg and then let's say you want to produce into 500 mg ke, you don't have to go back again. That's the dynamic in Korea. They approve at the ingredient level. Kan kita actually approve at the product level kan Puan kan kita produce at the product level. Dia punya arrangement tu different sikit. Tu yang kita nampak lah the dynamic. Tetapi kalau kat Malaysia ni they have kat Malaysia tu lain sikit lah dia punya proses. Depends on macam Puan cakap lah, the product positioning, where you want to come in.
Puan Nurul, can you confirm on this? Products, when we say functional food products, in Malaysia under the Quest 3 Plus system, kalau functional food is categorized as a health supplement for medium clean, betul ya? Ini clean. And when he says medium claim, doesn't need any clinical data.
Oh,
Is there actually clinical data? You just need
basically
in vivo,
the yeah,
in vivo
medium
experiment, and
claim.
also if you have any scientific information or literature to support the use, and also if you have some observational studies, epidemiological studies. So I think in Malaysia, if you want to market the functional food, it can be under health supplement, medium claim, and the requirement in vivo animal study. It is under, it's not under drugs, it's not under traditional medicine, it's under health supplement. And I think it's achievable, it can be done. If you, because it's not, you don't need to have any human study for this. Can you correct me? One? Nurul.
Okay. Functional food. Okay, we do have health supplement punya section and also traditional. Like I said just now, if let's say they want to go under us, we will see also like their formulations, because some of the formulations, if they want to declare under, you mean they need to provide the in vivo and in vitro requirement. I cannot say in terms of the health supplement regulation, and because I'm doing the natural product regulations. So, but for their part, they will ask for as a supplementary document for the in vivo and in vitro to support the claim. They still ask for it.
All right. We move to the next questions from this one from FB Live, Mohamad Shakir, Mohamad Yusuf. I think this is quite general questions. Any strategies for the industry and academia to push for better regulation and enforcement? Prof, would you like to
Very
take
broad.
this?
It's a very broad question. First is, as I mentioned, we need the three parties, the scientists, industry players, and also the government, the NPRA and Ministry of Health. We have to come together to look at this. You cannot solve problem in isolation. You need to come together and look at the problems and come up with a solution. I think that is my response to this. It's not easy.
All right, thank you, Prof. I think we go to the two last questions. This question from Rosa Dainita. Since most of the lab in universities are not GLP certified, how the industry can be approached by the university to bring their research level to commercialized level? What parameter that we should have in order to have the industry side?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge. The GLP ni is a challenge because of it's expensive. Kita ada lab yang provide GLP services in Malaysia. I think MPRA is a regulated. MPRA ada the list of GLP lab. If I'm mistaken, Puan Azeera kan, where you can find on MPRA lah. MPRA semua ada.
Ya, betul.
Semua kilang semua ada GMP semuanya MPRA control. So that's why it's important always lah visit MPRA punya website. Tetapi to conduct GLP study test is expensive. That's why you have to design well, you know where you are going with your research, the direction, and then the low-hanging fruits first. Maybe you start registration with your traditional medicine first, start selling, get some money, and then pump in balik into research. Lepas tu bila modern claim keluar tu, tengok balik modern claim punya requirement. So kalau modern claim punya requirement tu okay, can meet, okay, you add on lagi and then add on. So that's why I always go back to the regulation. Why I emphasize the modern claim tu is our key to lock the research is the bagi complete development stage from traditional, modern to therapeutic. You can grow in stages of your research. Tetapi the GLP tu pula, that's why dalam traditional you don't need GLP safety. first and foremost, you can start selling as traditional. But maybe modern claim, I think they might need, I do not know, but we wait for it and say hopefully not as robust as therapeutic. So, but the lab tu kat Malaysia memang ada, tetapi unfortunately also kat Malaysia ni dia tak ada full blown. Sebab GLP lah is expensive exercise lah, kan? Put that in that context lah, because in our case pun we have to go outside Malaysia because Malaysia tak ada the non-rodent component. So contoh lah, kan? Tapi as I said lah, in the commercialization you have to plan according to that regulatory punya guided requirement. Start selling first, go to the market. And janganlah you nak terus pergi ke therapeutic. Nanti masak you kan dengan you tak tahu what the outcome is. You focus traditional and upgrade to modern and then upgrade to therapeutic. And InsyaAllah you get that result. Yeah. If that's only I can give lah ideas of, but at least not easy lah, tapi at least you nampak lah jalan ke syurga tu dah ada dah.
All right, thank you.
Kalau medium claim tu kalau lah come up by this year. The purpose atau the guideline is to help products to reduce risk of diseases. It's not for treatment. That's why requirementnya cuma animal in vivo data. Whether you need GLP or not GLP, it yet to be confirmed. Tapi kalau research wise in a lab for you to publish in journal, you don't need GLP. But kalau for product development to come up to go into clinical trial, of course you need GLP. And I think kalau you look at what's happening in Indonesia they already have the medium claim. They call it Herbal standard, and I think the requirement will be almost the same. And also in Indonesia they don't have many of these products and many of these herbs under this category. It's not easy to. Because GLP, as mentioned, is very expensive. And in Malaysia, if not mistaken, you have IMR, you have IFAM, I think the only two, and then maybe you used to have one in Malacca, tapi dengar dah not working anymore. So very few GLP is very expensive, and that is practical not for you to come up with the product for. That's the reason why it's not easy. I think that's why you need to have people in the government yang jadi police monitor macam police enforcement. People in the university doing research to come up with data. People industry players try to market, sell it to people for human use. Really, most of the time we are not sitting down together to look at the problem to discuss about it. So kalau kita discuss about issues in isolation, you are not going to solve anything. So I'm hoping that I don't know who's going to lead, maybe the government, all people from all these sectors come together and discuss about the issues for the country. It's not only to make the people industry rich, it's not only to safeguard or the safety of the consumer. It's not only the enforcement, the police around to find people for not throwing the egg and so on. We have to sit down together, look at problem, discuss, find a solution. It's not happening. I've been in academic or in research for more than 38 years, coming out with papers. I know there's not much benefit directly. Of course, there's some benefit indirectly, non-tangible, of course, but it's not happening yet. I hope in my lifetime as a scientist, we can come up with some very impactful result for the country, especially in herbal medicine industry. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Prof, and our panels on the comments on these questions. So I think we have come to the end of our forums. I would like to thank all our honorable speakers for their willingness to share with us their knowledge and experience on today's topic, the journey from herbal research to registrations and commercialization in Malaysia. So that I'm sure has opened up our view and knowledge with regard to the herbal research in Malaysia. And I would like to thank all participants for spending your time with us today. So before we say goodbye, let us immortalize this session by switching on your videos. Technical team, can you help with me the photo sessions? And at the same time, we have posted attendance links at the WebEx checkbox, and kindly be informed that this link will be available for 30 minutes only, and after that the link will be closed. Okay, everyone ready for the photo session?
Hello, everyone. Okay, we'll count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, just another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, please stay safe and take care. Take very good care of yourself. Have a very good weekend, everyone. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.